This is your Daily 10 video, non-calculator video 1. Make sure you pause the video and attempt the question before I show you the solution. Here's your first question. In order to find the nth term of a linear sequence, the little trick that we've got is whatever the sequence increases or decreases by, so in this case goes down by -5, that is going to be what goes in front of the n. And then if you work out what number will go just before the sequence, that will tell you what number needs to go at the end of the nth term. So if I went back, in other words added on 5, I get to 45, so I need -5n plus 45. The one that is identical to that is this, 45 minus 5n. Both mean the same thing. 1 mark question. Here's your next question. In order to solve, remember we always do the opposite of whatever it says, the inverse function in other words. So here I would need to start off by adding 9 to both sides, opposite of -9. So if I add 9, you give me x over 3 equals 12 plus 9 is 21, 1 mark. And just be careful, this says divide by 3, so we need to multiply by 3, so we would get that x is equal 21 times 3 to 63. And there's a 2 mark question. Here's your next question. This time to do with area. So here we're being asked to work out the area of the shaded section. Now straight away, before I start worrying about working out the shaded bit, I've got 2 shapes here, the square and some circles. So I'm going to make sure, and this is what examiners like to see nowadays, that I actually set out my working so it's very clear to see what I'm doing. So for the square, the area of that is going to be length times width, or in other words 12 times 12, which is 144. For each one of the circles, we would use the formula for area, which is pi r squared. Because we've got 4 circles here, I'm going to times this by 4 when I've worked it out. So for this one, because the entire square is 12, that means that the diameter, so from one side to the other for each circle, is going to be 6 centimetres. So the radius, remember, from the centre to the edge, that is going to be 3 centimetres. So we would get pi times 3 squared, or in other words, pi times 9, which we're going to write as 9 pi. Now that's for one circle, as we mentioned before. Because we've got 4 circles here, we would need to do 4 lots of 9 pi, which is 36 pi. So to work out the area of this shaded section, we're going to have to do the area of the square, take away the 4 circles, so here we are going to get 144, take away the circles, so 36 pi. You're likely to get marks here, 1 for the square, your second mark for working out and using the formula for circles, probably 3 marks by the time that you get to the 36 pi to show that you've worked out all 4 circles, and your 4th and final mark for working out the area of the shaded section. The next question on the video is this. So for this one we're going to break it down into 2 sections. First off, the cube root of 8. Well, the cube root of 8 means what number times by itself times by that again would equal 8. In this case that's 2, probably going to get 1 mark for that. 5 to the power of -2, as soon as you see a negative power, that means you need to do the reciprocal, or in other words 1 over whatever the number is. So this 5 to the power of -2 is exactly the same as 1 over 5 squared. We change that into 1 over 25, so actually doing 5 squared. At that point, I now need to multiply these two together. So I'd need to do 2 multiplied by 1 over 25. Well, that's simply 2 over 25. Now just check, it does want the answer in the form of a decimal. At this point, I've probably got 2 marks, so to get the third and final mark, I need to change this into a decimal. You might know this already, however, if you're unsure, your best bet is to try and change fractions so it has a multiple of 10 or 100 at the bottom, so 10 and 100 there. Here we've multiplied by 4, so I'd have to do the same to the top. Give me 8 over 100. Well, 8 100ths is the same as 0.08. Remember, tenths, hundredths, hence why 8 100ths. Hopefully you got 10 out of 10 for this video.